Salutations, Skoobeliever. Do you have a dream of becoming an entrepreneur, but don't know where to start or even what to do? Where can I gather information quickly about what's in my zone of genius? Don't worry, Skoobelievers. I got you covered. Go to tuepodcast.net/AI prompt and check out an amazing set of AI prompts that will give you ideas, information, and articles to help you get across that start line. Once again, go to tuepodcast.net/AI prompt to get you started now. Good luck, Skoobeliever. Attention, Skoobelievers. Grab your audience by the eyeballs with eye-catching logo animations. Give your brand the visual enhancement it needs to thrive in a digital world. Go to topbizdesigns.com, where excellence meets design. Undiscovered Entrepreneur, Episode 8, The Great. That was dumb. Welcome to the Undiscovered Entrepreneur, the podcast where brand new entrepreneurs come to life and could quite possibly be discovered. Join me, DJ Skoob, and the rest of the Skoobelievers as we help these new businesses become a reality. And now, away we go! Hello, Skoobeliever, and welcome to another edition of the Undiscovered Entrepreneur. And it's me, DJ Skoob, coming at you live with whatever device you happen to be listening to. Well, first of all, I actually wanted to say thank you. I wanted to say thank you very much for taking the time to listen to me and hopefully learn something as you listen to my podcast today. And thank you for any support that you've given me in the past, present, and hopefully the future. So today we're actually talking to a lady who is a renovations specialist, and she specializes in home renovations and hotel guest rooms. And this really is something very interesting to me because she really takes pride in the fact that she's female, but she's able to get into her construction work and be able to work just as hard as any male. So that's really nice. That's awesome. So another thing that we're going on here is we want to listen to how she likes to try new things and explore new things, and how she likes to really make people happy with her ability to change dreams into reality when it comes to people's home renovations. Also, she tells a great story about her father and her family and how she really tries to learn from her father. Even though she was younger and she was female, she was actually able to start learning to work with her hands. And of course, flow. Flow is actually something we talk about, and it's definitely something that happens to me a lot when I'm doing my podcasts. When I'm actually getting into the recordings and getting into the editing, I kind of get into a state of mind where I kind of lose track of myself because I'm really into what I'm doing. So flow is definitely something to consider. Okay, so at this point, let's listen to the amazing Dr. Sahara. Hello and salutations, Skoobelievers. This is DJ Skoob coming at you with another great entrepreneur. Today we have Dr. Sahara. Say hi, Dr. Sahara.
Hello. Hi, everyone.
All right. So, Dr. Sahara, I have a very serious question to ask you, okay?
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. Are you a Skoobeliever?
Absolutely.
All right. Yeah.
I am.
All right. We have our next Skoobeliever.
Yes.
All right. Now, Dr. Sahara has a business, and it qualifies. It's been under a year since he's had the business. So, Dr. Sahara, can you please tell me what your business is, how long it's been, and a little bit about yourself?
Oh, great. My business is a renovation company. We specializes in home renovation and hotel guest rooms. The business is fairly new. It's been established long time ago, but it wasn't registered or didn't have the license or any of that. We were just going word to mouth and doing work and stuff like that. And, I did pretty well with a lot of help from a lot of friends. I did not do it on my own. I can't take credit for that. And I'm grateful for all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's registered in Florida in state. We did pretty well here. Like if I say something about myself, it's I've always had the entrepreneur spirit, and I'll explain that very quickly. Just I like adventures. I like try new things. I dive in, and I've hit bottom so many times diving in. But that's, to me, that's kind of the attitude that got me to be in entrepreneur. Like be my own boss. And that's, if you want me to talk more, I can say more. But I think that's. I hope that
I think you
was
pretty much nailed it
sufficient.
all there, Dr. Sahara.
Okay, good.
Which is good.
I'm glad.
One thing I want to say though is I'm really glad you said the word adventure. Adventure is actually what I use to describe all of basically the adventures that we take in entrepreneurship, because it really is an adventure. It's ups, it's downs, it's trudging through jungles. It could be just about anything that we actually encounter. So I really appreciate you saying that word. I know it doesn't sound like something that's really all that big, but that word, I always, whenever I talk to anybody, it's what is your entrepreneur adventure? So I really appreciate that.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
It feels good to have assurance when you say something, because in the back of my mind, I'm like, I don't know, did I like make it too big? But I'm glad you kind of, you understand where I'm coming from. So
Absolutely. It can never be too big. I could tell you that. So I'm going to ask you a question here now. What made you actually want to start doing this? What was actually the thing that said, hey, this is for me? What was that about?
I always like to work with my hands. Like I like books. I read, and I've graduated obviously with doctorate degree. So I'm good with books, but I like doing things with my hands. Since I was a little kid, my dad would do work around the house. He always, every summer, he would build screens for our windows, and he always needed help. And my brothers didn't want nothing to do with it. They just want to be with their friends. And I've begged every year, let me help you. And he's like, you're totally little, you don't know. And then finally he gave in and he let me help him. To me, it means like great memories. It means independence, achievement. It just makes me feel good that to be able to do it, and it looks nice, and I enjoy it. That's what it is, really. I really enjoy doing it. I can work long hours, and I'm very tired, but I still want to make it better. I want it to be perfect.
Yeah, and you know what? That's actually happens to me a lot too. When I'm doing my videos and audios, like I'm doing here today, when I go in to edit them and make sure they sound good and things like that, I get into this what's called flow, and what you lose track of time, you lose track of hunger, you lose track of everything because you want this to continue, because you want to finish the job that you've started and that kind of thing.
Right.
And I've been doing this for maybe 2 or 3 weeks. I've lost 3 pounds just because I've stopped eating. So I don't know if that's good or bad, but it's just that I get into this flow and I don't want to do anything else. I'm not looking at the time. And when I do look at the time, an hour or something's gone past, it's like, what just happened?
Yeah.
So there's actually a book called Flow that actually digs really deep into that. Unfortunately, I can't remember the name, and I will have the name of the author of the book Flow in the show notes. But that's one book that I would really dive into when you want to figure out what flow is about.
Yeah.
I noticed earlier, just a few minutes ago, you talked about pitfalls, and there was a lot of pitfalls and problems and struggles that you had. Can you give me an example of a pitfall or a problem that you had when you were getting started?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest hurdle was to prove that I can do this. I was surrounded with all guys doing the work, and they were very respectful. Don't take me wrong. They were very respectful. They were just surprised. I mean, why are you doing this hard work? You can just go do, nails, go do hair, go do, you know, do like decorate the house. This is something not hard work. Why are you choosing this physical labor?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not belittling any of the examples I said. It's just that's what they were referring to as not hard work, like compared to construction work. And they would always tell me, why are you doing this work? It's so hard for a woman. You're delicate, you're feminine, but I just enjoy doing it. I really do. And I'm strong, even though I'm a female, but I was stronger than some of the guys, trying to disassemble, bathroom fixtures, and they were kind of struggling with it or not fast enough. And I was just going and I'm done. And, I enjoy doing it.
Well, I got to tell you, there really is no gender roles here when it comes to, I mean, I respect women and what they're capable of doing. And I know for a fact that there's a lot of women out there that could do twice the job I can. And I respect them highly for that.
Right.
Just because you're a woman doesn't mean you can't do physical labor. I've seen
True.
some women that would just get right in there and shovel, get dirty or anything like that, just as well, if not better than any man that I've seen. So
yeah. And to be honest with you, I've worked in filthy buildings, like buildings they've been gutted and we're just doing prepping, and it was filthy. It was no electricity, it was really hot, it was no light. We had to be creative, put your phone light on, hold your phone with one hand, disassemble with another hand. It wasn't like they didn't cater to me, because, oh, let's help her. No, everybody's on their own.
mm-hmm.
You got this. Yes, I got this, and I have to figure it out, make it work, just get it done. Yeah,
that's awesome. Well, I commend you for your hard work and everything that you do to make things work for yourself and in your business. So I'm going to transition to another question now. You talked a little bit about influences, and I was wondering if you had somebody that you looked up to or somebody that inspires you, that keeps you moving forward. Do you have an inspiration or somebody that you really look up to?
You mean a person or a coach?
Like both. Let's do both. Why not? Let's talk about person first.
You know what? I've always, I'm not against men. I don't want this to be like misunderstood, but I'm all for women. I'm a woman advocate, and I want to see women do better. I want to see women succeed. I want them to fulfill all their dreams. And if I look up to anything, it'll be like Michelle Obama, it'll be Oprah, it'll be somebody that I can't even remember the name right now, but I'm influenced by these figures. They made it and they struggled, and they came from poor environment, or they didn't, people saw them like, no, they're not going to make it. You know what I mean? These type of people.
Right.
And Stan Lee was one of them too. And he's my hero as well. After learning about him, I honestly didn't know that much about him, but I dived into his biography, and oh my God, coming from a poor environment and made it the way he made it. He did jobs that probably, people don't want to do them just to get where he wanted. He ventured, he ventured in life, and he's just like, I'll do that. I'll do this. That's okay. And then he went some route that he probably didn't think he would end there. Those people are my heroes. And if I'm going to say one thing, like a wording that affects me or I believe in, there's so many of them, but the one that sticks in my head all the time is like one person, you can't change the world. Let's be honest. It'll be like, it's an imaginary thing. Like I'm Sahara. I am not going to go out there and be a hero and change the whole world. I don't think, but let's be realistic. You can't. But you know what you can do? You can change one person's world. Like this person has his own world. You can motivate that person. You can mentor that person. And that's a change. it's, imagine if you do that to so many people, you did change the world. Each person does their part, and that will change the world.
Yeah, and that's something that I kind of strive for when I'm doing these podcasts. Is I hope my hope and my dream is to just have one person listen to what we say on these podcasts and go, you know what, I can do that. Or, I was thinking about it, but this, after hearing what he and Dr. Sahara said, I'm going to go do this because they said I can do it. And that's, if I can find out, say, hey, aren't you DJ Scoob? And I'd be like, yes. Oh, thank you so much for saying this.
Right?
And that would, if I know I could change the life of that one person, that means my life is complete. So
absolutely.
I think mentors also, you kind of mentioned mentors. Mentors are really important. It sounds like to me your father was your mentor.
Yes. And you know what? My dad, I was born and raised in Middle East. And back then, I'm talking about early 70s. Mm-hmm. Back then, girls were sheltered and kept, like, don't do this and don't do that. And they were restricted to so many things you cannot do because of how society judges girls for doing things it's not normal for them to do. And but my dad, since I was little, my dad didn't treat me like my older sister. He thought he can depend on me, and he smoked cigarettes. And I remember being 5 years old, my dad would give me the money and tell me, go buy me a pack of cigarettes. Back then you could do that, you could send your kid and he would buy, you knew the guy at, my dad knew him, they knew us, and they would sell it to you back then. And and my mom would go nuts. My mom used to hate it. Just like, she's only 5 and she's a girl. Don't send her out on the street. She's a girl. and my dad's like, oh, she'll be fine. She can protect herself. And, and that gave me so much confidence. I used to sit and listen to them argue when my dad gave me the money to go get him what he needed. And, the corner store was right around the corner. I'm not talking about out on the street far away. It was really, really close.
Right.
But still, my mom, didn't think that it was appropriate. He should call his son to do it, not me.
Well, it sounds like he had a lot of confidence in you and what you were capable of doing. So that's amazing. Sounds like you had a pretty good guy there for a dad.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm going to transition to a different question now. So I know you haven't been really open for very long for business, but when will you know when you've made it? When you get to that point where you're saying, you know what, this is exactly where I wanted to be at this exact time. When do you know you've made it? What does that look like to you when you've actually made it?
You know what? If I say like I made it, that's I don't know if that's ever gonna end. I would say milestone. Milestone will be more accurate in my point of view. Like if I hitting a milestone, the goal is to be known as the home remodelers to go to. Like I know there's so many of us out there, but we were in Illinois. We just moved to Florida about three years ago, and we were known there. Like it's a different kind of relation. It's not business paperwork. Rigid rules. We're open. Tell me what you want, and we were very flexible. And that will be a milestone when they say no, we're not getting them, we're getting her because such and such said that she was amazing or she did this for us, she went the extra, and that will be a big milestone.
Yeah, that's amazing because word of mouth is advertising is just so important when it comes to entrepreneurship, because they'll skip by the big guys and all these other people that might even be bidding lower than you, but still go with you because they heard from their friend, relative, anything like that you do quality work and then you're dependable and you're consistent. And they would go with that over something that might charge a little bit less and not have those actual qualities. So that's a real, and I'm glad you put the word milestone in there. And it's so funny that when I ask this question, everybody has something a little bit different to say.
Yeah. Oh, really?
I have somebody saying at one point, "Oh yeah, when I opened my first store, my first brick and mortar store, I'll have made it." And then I have somebody else that say, "I'm never going to make it because that means that'll be the end, and I don't want it to end," which is probably where I'm at too, because I don't want this to end. I'm just getting started, and I feel like if I say, "Okay, well, I've made it, I finally made it," and it's like, well, now what? So
Yeah. Yeah. You just grow bigger, I guess.
exactly. And
Yeah.
and same thing for you too. You just grow bigger and more people notice you,
Yeah.
and suddenly you're hiring people to work for you instead of you working
Yeah.
for your job, you know.
Right.
So
And
yeah.
this is in the process, actually. This is like this is something we're working on this next 2 weeks. We
Oh, okay.
already, we already have two employers coming in. We're just waiting for the okay from the partner, like not partnership, for people we're subbing work from, like a big company we're subbing work from
Oh, right. Well,
as a
congratulations.
contractor. Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you. Hope,
absolutely. That's
yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
So, I'm going to give you a little different question here. If you just happen to run into somebody that's looking to do and have the same adventure or entrepreneur adventure, like I call it, as you're
Mhm.
having, what advice would you give? What would you say to them? What steps would you tell them to take?
Honestly, I would tell them, if you tried, like you run into walls, okay, or roadblock, okay, and you try something and it didn't work, that doesn't mean it is not going to work. It just means that you need to find another avenue to make it work. There are so many options out there. The mentality, the way you think inside your head makes a lot of difference in what you do. If you believe that there is a solution for this, I just didn't find it yet, you will come up with it. But if you feel like, well, I'm going to try this, if it doesn't work, then whatever, then it didn't work.
Right. I know that something I'm always hearing about is a man isn't defined by what he does, but what actions he takes after what happens. So when I run into
Oh,
that roadblock,
wow.
if I am just say, okay, and throw my hands up in the air and say, okay, I'm done, that's it. I really am a failure. But
Right.
instead of saying, just throwing my hands up and saying I'm a failure, I'll say, okay, well, how do we get around this? Then you're not a
Right.
failure. It's a learning process at that particular point, a learning curve, however you want to say it, a way to learn something new, something different, and a new way to get around. So when you come across that roadblock again, or you come into somebody that's run into that same roadblock as you could say, hey, try this and see if
Right.
that works for you. And now you're helping other people at the same time as you're helping yourself, and everybody wins. So,
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
so this might actually be a good question for you. Sometimes this question doesn't work out, but I think this would be a good question for you. So, if I'm looking to hire somebody to do the same thing as the renovations, same as you, and I have two other people I'm looking at besides you that's charging the same amount of money and has the
Mhm.
same amount of credentials as you do, what would
Mhm.
you do to set yourself apart from these other two people?
The intention behind doing the work that will set me apart. My intention is to fulfill their dream. Like, people want to renovate their kitchen. I know how it feels to get it, to make it the way you want to. My goal is not to make the dollar. Yes, of course, I'm in business to make money. I'm not going to lie. But my intention is get the kitchen or the bathroom or however renovation they want to do to the house the way they dreamt it. Can you imagine they dreamt something and you made it happen? Can you imagine that? How would that make them feel? Like, every time they look at it, they would say, they made it happen. I'm so happy. It looks beautiful. It's exactly like I imagined it. And that's my intention when I do the work. It's not the money. It's not growing my business. Really, the bottom line is, I want to fulfill their dream. I want them to look at it. It's like, that's exactly how I pictured it.
Wow, that's powerful. Well, you're hired. All right. You could actually, I'm sure you've watched these shows on television where people actually do that. You could have your own television show doing it, as powerful as you feel about that. Okay, so I'm gonna ask you a different question here. Like I usually say this too, is I borrowed this from another podcast, so I'm gonna kind of borrow it here. But what is the one question you wish I would have asked you but didn't?
I would say why construction. For me, being it is not common to have that. I mean, there are a lot of females that run construction companies, but doing the work. They manage, they do that, but them diving into doing the actual work, that's not like I haven't seen it. I know I haven't seen everything, but to me, it's not common. I don't know if like how many people would agree with me, but to me, in my point of view, this is not common. So the question will be, why do this work? Why? So that I thought you would ask me that.
Oh, well, I'll tell you what. I'm asking you now. Can you give me an answer to your question?
I just would say, why not? The opportunity is there. The law doesn't say I can't do it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And I'm the type of person who don't care what people say.
That's good. Thank you so much for that. We got through that. And figured that out. Next time I talk to you, I'll make sure to ask that question. Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna have a different answer then.
Well, yeah. Well, that's what I was going to ask you this question. Then maybe that'll lead into something about that. So you said you had a couple of things working, which is great. In the next 6 months, where do you see yourself and where do you see your company?
Okay, in the next 6 months, the plan is for me to get the GC, the general contractor license. I have not earned that yet. I was busy doing my doctorate degree. That's why I had to put up on hold. I started that first, and it had to finish first.
Mm-hmm.
The second goal that lines up with that is hire more employees, which will be great because a lot of people, have the skills, but they can't find jobs for some other reason. So that will be 6 months from now.
How many employees do you think you'd want to have in the next 6 months? I mean, can you give us a number or something close?
I would say now we're 3. Mm-hmm. It's me. I have a business partner. He doesn't like internet or Zoom meeting or any of that stuff. He's more laid back and he's comfortable that way. So now we're 3. Mm-hmm. And then I can see ourselves for 6 months from now having another 3. That will be the goal. More, we're gonna, contract more work. So it'll be 8 of us, total 8.
Okay. So it sounds like you want to have 6 employees underneath you and then 7, 8. So that'd be you and your business partner.
Yes.
Okay. So here's what we're going to do. In 6 months, I'm actually going to follow up with you. We're going to do another interview. And I want to see that you have another 3 employees underneath you and your contractor's license.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, all right. So at this point, I want you to kind of identify what you're doing. Give us your website, give us your email, any of that contact information. Okay, this is your time to shine. Okay, Dr. Sahara.
All right. Thank you.
Ready, go.
Okay. So the company name is Home Remodeling Remedies, LLC. You can find us on Facebook. And our website is homeremodelingremedies.com. We're also on LinkedIn.
All right. That's good. So hopefully, maybe someday, sometime, somebody will listen to this and contact you. That's kind of one of the goals I have for you, is to help you along in your entrepreneur venture. Okay?
Oh, man. That will be great.
Okay. Now, if anybody wants to get a hold of me, you can get a hold of me at pianotiehentertainment@gmail.com. And I usually answer pretty quickly on my emails, as long as I don't have 20 or 30 of them coming in all at once. Anything that we discussed here today will be in show notes, so I'll make sure to get those up for you. Dr. Sarah, thank you again very much for coming in and talking to us for a little while. And we hope the best for you. And we'll follow up with you in 6 months. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, Jesse. Good luck to you too.
All right. Thank you, Skoobelievers. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Dr. Sahara. She was definitely an interesting person to actually talk to, and I actually had a lot of fun interviewing her. So I like the fact that she's really not interested in changing the entire world and how she talks about changing one person's world and making that her top priority. Because if you change enough people's world, then maybe you are actually changing the world just a little bit for everybody. So I'd also like the fact that she talks about milestones instead of actually making a major accomplishment or having made it. I really think that's a great way to kind of think about your goals and how to set them for yourself instead of saying, hey, I finally made it to this point, where instead saying, hey, I made it to this milestone. What's my next one? So that's great. I love the fact also that she actually talks about her intention at work, how she really strives herself to work really hard on what she does to make people's dreams come true. All right. So now into our next little thing, I want to give you a little update about my adventure in trying to book a speaker, Chris Brogan. All right. So I am doing some shopping around, and because of where I live, there's a lot of actual theaters, kind of like that put on shows, live music, festivals, and things like that. So I thought about looking into one of those instead of just getting the convention center. And I talked to a lady who was actually very interested in having a speaker at their theater. So I told her exactly what I was looking for and what my expectations were. And she told me that they actually do things like that quite often. And they have a special price for people that want to do things like weddings and speaking engagements. So for the theater and AV equipment and ushers and concessions, it was $5,500 for all that. So we actually have gone from $11,000 to $8,000 to $5,500. I think this is a place that we're going to go. So now that we've had that finally kind of squared away, our next step is going to be talking to a corporate sponsor. Now, I actually have somebody in mind at the restaurant that I work at, because apparently she actually takes time off of work to go to special events and to speakers and to motivational speaker shows. So I'm hoping she'll kind of have a special place in her heart for something like this. So, all right, enough of that. And I think we are going to end the show here. Thanks for taking the time to listen to me all the way through. And please don't forget to leave me a 5-star review if you feel like you can do so. And if you like what you're listening to and you want to hear more, please support me by going to my donation page. It's on my website, which is uepodcast.net. If you want to reach me directly, you can contact me on my Twitter, which is at DJ Skoob. That's SKOOB 2021. And if you want to reach me via email, please contact me at uepodcast2021@gmail.com. And on my website, if you'd like to join my email list so I can keep you informed of any changes, any new things that are coming out, or when you'd like to know when my next podcast is going to be, please go to my website and join my email list. Okay, everybody, have a great day and take care of yourself out there, and we love you. Thank you. Hello there, DJ Skoob here. And I just want to personally say thank you for listening to my program. I really hope you learned something. Tune in 2 weeks to listen to another brand new entrepreneur. And remember, I can, I am, I will, and I'm doing it today. As a worker of 2 full-time jobs, running a podcast and coaching, every minute counts in my day-to-day. It's hard to be consistent in any of my social medias. And at this point, I cannot hire a social media manager. Pinnacle AI to the rescue! I've been using Pinnacle AI for a couple of weeks now and seeing big improvements in my outreach and consistency in all my social medias. Do you want to save time and increase your productivity too? Go to tuepodcast.net/AI for more information. Save yourself time and grow your brand. Try it now and see what it can do for you.